a seasoned veteran of life. I don't know, I guess I'm one of those people that a bunch of stuff has happened to. I used to think that it was terrible and horrific until one day I had a revelation. My sister and I were gardening, and we started talking about dirt, the kind of dirt that gets on you and you can't wash it off. And then we started talking about fertilizer and how fertilizer helps plants grow. And that's when it occurred to me. Even though the proverbial fertilizer seemed to always hit the fan, or fertilizer happens, just like in my garden, something good had to grow from all my beautiful dirt. I had to become a disruptor of my own life and my own thoughts. I am a survivor of childhood, sexual, emotional, and physical abuse. It happened from the time I was about 6 to when I was 11, and I know that I'm not alone. Something changes in you when you're abused. It did in me. Every single time I was beaten in my sleep, or the time I had to save my mom from being stabbed to death on the kitchen table, or when I wondered at night if someone was going to come into my room. Abuse changed the way I thought, and I felt, and I acted. When I was 9 years old, I know none of you would have had me play with your kids. I looked like I was raised by wolves. I cussed like a sailor, and at one point in time I was sent to the principal's office because I beat up a boy. But there was this family that was really nice, and I think they saw that I was troubled. So they would send a lunch or say a nice word every so now and again. And then there was this teacher who was really cool, and she encouraged me. She said, study hard and get good grades. And I did. I'm so grateful for good people. Because of their kindness, I made a vow that turned into a core value that I take into everything that I do. And this is what it is. No one is invisible. Pay attention. There were a lot of people that knew what was going on with my sister and I, but very few people responded. And I wanted to be the kind of person that responded. In business, I create a dossier on every single person that I think I'm going to come in contact with, whether it's the landscaper or the janitor, receptionist, employee, boss. I want to know people, and I want them to know I'm paying attention. I want them to be seen and heard and feel important. When I paid attention, I was able to figure out why one employee, why she was late all the time. And it was because she couldn't find clothing to cover bruises. On another occasion, I saved a guy from getting written up because he was wearing a beanie. So I said, come on into this room, let's take it off, let's show your supervisor. And out flowed this like 2.5-foot fro. Looked like Dumbo's ears. He was growing his hair to make wigs for cancer patients. There's usually a good reason why things get our attention. And I always wanted my leadership and my work ethic to be driven by my humanity. I've been in the entertainment industry for over 30 years. I've been in front of the camera. I've been behind the camera. I have produced large events. I've been a vocalist and a voiceover artist. In corporate America, I've worked just about as long. I've specialized in team building, in personal performance, and the people side of reorg. Everybody asks me, how did you get into the entertainment industry? Well, a friend of mine asked me to audition for Disney with his band. I got the job, the band didn't. We're still friends, though. Then I signed with an agency. I booked 2 national commercials. I was up for a pilot. I got married. I got pregnant. And then my life changed again. My son was born when I was only 24 and a half weeks pregnant. He weighed 1 pound, 13 ounces. He had a 2% chance of survival and a 99.9% chance that he would have a major handicap. When I went down to sign the papers at Children's Hospital of Orange County, I said, wait a second, that's not my phone number. And the lady said, oh no, that's the estimated amount of money you owe. Oh. I didn't know that our insurance company got bought out by another insurance company, and now nobody wanted that pre-existing condition. Our credit was ruined forever. I didn't know at that time what was coming next. I didn't understand what was going to be. From there, every day I took my son to a specialist or to a doctor, and I did that for 2.5 years. Then at the end of 2.5 years, he was cleared of all major handicaps. It was nothing short of a miracle. However, yeah, that deserves applause. Unfortunately, in a few months after that, we had a fire in our house, I got a divorce, and my dad committed suicide. It was so stressful that I cried so hard I rubbed my vocal cords together, and I injured my voice. I couldn't talk, I couldn't sing, and I lost my voice for 5.5 years. I used to tell my young students, "An evil sea witch stole my Little Mermaid voice, and now it's in a shell around her neck." I was a single mom, and I worked a bunch of jobs. And then I got remarried, and then I had a son. Then 10 years after that, my oldest boy was missing. He was homeless and living on the street. He'd been self-medicating, which is common for preemies. The way I found him is I saw him coming out of a porta potty across the street. And he said, "Mom, I've been living there because I just wanted to be close to home." He did a few stints in jail, and then years after that, my youngest son gets a parasite. And then he gets in a very terrible bike accident. I'm just one of those people that a lot of stuff's happened to. Which brings me to my second core value. What I see today is not forever. Even in the worst times, I had to believe that something was better just around the corner. I had to talk to myself. I had to train myself to see every day as just a snapshot. It wasn't the whole movie. 3 words I would say to myself every single day: start, move, grow. And I would tell everybody the same thing. Don't worry. Who you're going to be tomorrow is not who you are today. I was telling them, but I was really telling myself. Slowly, I grew in my ability to create these words and phrases that seemed to break through these ceilings of excellence that people had on themselves, and I was kind of doing it to myself too. And everywhere I served, I concentrated on creating environments where, yeah, growth is expected, but people were nurtured and cared for. And if there was a failure, well, that was just something to dissect and learn from. It was not evidence that you were a loser. From that concept, I've promoted students to worldwide music tours, to recording contracts, to Broadway credits and TV and film roles. I have healed vocal cords from people who were hurt during surgery. I created a communication pathway for a little autistic girl. And I even taught a man how to sing at his daughter's wedding when he was almost all the way deaf. In my business world, I have saved a lot of partnerships. And I have helped increase efficiency. And I've even taught and trained people who are going to get fired to interview well and to work at other companies that I would set up. Because of what I went through, I developed this knack for building bridges of tolerance, for creating environments of unity. And people began to rise to this excellence and power. Well, that's the way I see it now. Back then, Serving people was my survival and sanctuary. It was so much better to concentrate on others than it was to get caught in my own chaos. And this brings me to my third core value. The hardest person I need to outwork is me. Every job I ever got was because someone saw my work ethic when I wasn't looking. My performance career would go something like this. Hey, you look really nice. You look like you could read some copy. Yeah, sure. Can you sing? Sure. Can you do it in an Australian accent? I hope I dream my wish that I could be a fish. I got the jobs because I outworked myself. Somebody recently asked me, they were like, what does that really mean? Okay, this is what it means. It means I set my own standards. It means I manage my own good, bad, and ugly. Hey, it also means that I set and I meet my own goals without the need to compete with anything or anyone else. And I have to be brave to get to the next level. I have been the American Airlines Business Report voice for 3.5 years. I was
a very, very old lady for cartoon demos.
I've sung on a lot of commercials, and I've even had the honor of working with Rick Springfield and Sir Elton John. My definition of success is a satisfied reflection in the mirror at the end of the day. 4 years ago, my mom fell. She hit her head, and she passed away. And then a year ago, I got diagnosed with rare mold poisoning in my blood. Really? I had to practice what I preach, brothers and sisters. Remember your core values, Chariya. Be a disruptor of your own life and thoughts. I made it through. Life can be hard, but some things grow if you give it a chance. I've been happily married now for over 25 years. My oldest son, he's doing great. He's engaged to be married. And my youngest son, he just got drafted to play professional baseball with the Pittsburgh Pirates. And me, with all the other stuff that I've been doing, I actually became an artist in a really weird turn of events. When my mom passed, I took a cello and I painted on it. I'd never done that before. Then Sir Elton John signed it. He doesn't do that anymore. Then it went to auction. And then I became an artist. Through that art, I've created something I like to call life cards. And these cards are colorful, and they've got these encouraging words on them. And I guess I just wanted people to know, you don't have to play the cards you're dealt. You can trade them in for others. I am a seasoned veteran of life, and I've experienced a lot. But every day, I do my best to encourage as many people as possible to press through to their excellence, to walk through their beautiful dirt, and watch what impossible things will grow.